Buckle up and prepare for a night of spine-chilling horror as we take you on 4 terrifying driving journeys. Dark roads, eerie encounters, and unspeakable frights await. Brace yourself for these haunting driving horror stories. The Hitchhiker's Curse. On a moonless night, the darkness enveloped the winding country road as I drove my car through the desolate countryside. The sound of crickets filled the air, and the only source of light was the feeble glow of my car's headlights. I had heard rumors of a hitchhiker haunting this lonely stretch of road, but I dismissed them as mere folklore. As I rounded a bend, I saw a figure standing by the roadside, their form barely visible in the dim light. A chill ran down my spine, and I hesitated for a moment before deciding to offer them a ride. The hitchhiker got into my car, their face obscured by the shadows, and the air inside the car grew heavy with an unexplainable tension. They directed me down a series of winding back roads, far from any signs of civilization. The darkness seemed to close in around us, and an eerie silence filled the car. The hitchhiker spoke in hushed tones, recounting tales of accidents and tragedies that had occurred on these lonely roads. As we drove deeper into the night, the atmosphere grew more oppressive, and I felt as though an unseen presence was watching our every move. The hitchhiker's stories became more unsettling, and I struggled to shake off the feeling of impending doom. Suddenly, the hitchhiker asked to be let out at a crossroads surrounded by dense woods. My heart pounded in my chest, and a sense of dread washed over me. Reluctantly, I stopped the car, and they stepped out into the darkness, disappearing into the night without a trace. As I drove away from the crossroads, an inexplicable fear gnawed at me. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had encountered something otherworldly, a vengeful spirit seeking solace in the living world. The hitchhiker's curse weighed heavily on my mind, and I vowed never to pick up a hitchhiker again. The Phantom Caravan. Under the cover of a moonless night, I found myself driving through a desolate desert landscape. The stars above glimmered like distant beacons in the pitch-black sky, and the sand dunes seemed to stretch endlessly into the horizon. I was alone on the lonely highway, the only car for miles. As I drove, a distant light flickered in the distance, and a ghostly caravan emerged from the darkness. The vehicles floated above the ground, their wheels barely touching the desert sand. I couldn't believe my eyes, a phantom caravan traveling through the night with an ethereal grace. Intrigued and apprehensive, I decided to follow the mysterious caravan, curious about its destination. As I trailed behind them, an eerie silence engulfed the desert, broken only by the sound of the wind whipping through the dunes. The caravan seemed to defy the laws of the physical world, its spectral presence captivating and unsettling. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had stumbled upon something supernatural, something beyond human comprehension. Suddenly, the caravan veered off the road and vanished into the heart of a massive sand dune, leaving no trace behind. Fear gnawed at me, and I wondered if I had witnessed a mirage or an encounter with the spirit world. Though shaken, I continued my journey through the desert, haunted by the memory of the phantom caravan. It left me with a sense of awe and trepidation, a reminder that there are mysteries in the world that defy explanation and that the desert holds secrets beyond human understanding. The Haunted Tunnel. Bathed in the silver glow of the moon, I found myself driving along a remote mountain road. The towering trees cast long, eerie shadows on the winding path ahead. As I drove deeper into the night, an inexplicable chill settled over the car, and the air felt heavy with an unseen presence. Up ahead loomed a tunnel, an ominous passage carved into the heart of the mountain. As I entered the tunnel, a cold draft swept through the car, causing the hairs on my arms to stand on end. The darkness inside the tunnel seemed to stretch on forever, and the silence was deafening. As I drove through the tunnel, strange things began to happen. My headlights flickered, and the radio emitted static, as if some malevolent force was toying with my car's electronics. Panic clawed at my throat, and I questioned whether I should turn back. Suddenly, I saw a figure standing in the middle of the tunnel, blocking my path. My heart pounded in my chest, and I slammed on the brakes, but the figure remained motionless, like a phantom from the depths of darkness. As I approached the figure, it vanished into thin air, leaving no trace behind. Fear gripped me, and I couldn't comprehend what I had just witnessed. The haunted tunnel had come alive with a ghostly presence, and I questioned my sanity. The rest of the drive through the tunnel felt like an eternity, the darkness closing in around me. When I finally emerged on the other side, I was shaken to the core, haunted by the encounter with the unknown. From that night on, I avoided the haunted tunnel, fearing the malevolent spirits that dwelled within its depths. The memory of that chilling encounter stayed with me, a reminder that the supernatural world can cross paths with the living, leaving an everlasting impact on those who dare to venture into the darkness. The Crossroads of Souls. In the dead of night, I found myself driving along a desolate stretch of road that intersected with a lonely crossroads. The moon cast an eerie glow on the pavement, and the surrounding fields swayed gently in the cold wind. It was a night of haunting stillness and spectral beauty. As I approached the crossroads, a sense of foreboding washed over me. I had heard tales of this place, a junction rumored to be a gateway between the living and the dead. The stories told of lost souls wandering the crossroads, trapped in limbo between realms. As I drove through the crossroads, a strange sensation enveloped me, the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. The air inside the car grew heavy, and the temperature seemed to drop, as if a ghostly presence had settled upon me. Suddenly, a faint light appeared in the distance, illuminating the center of the crossroads. As I got closer, I saw a collection of photographs scattered on the ground, a haunting display of lost souls who had met tragic fates at this very junction. I stepped out of the car to investigate, and as I picked up one of the photographs, a chilling breeze swept through the air. The photographs seemed to come to life, and I felt a surge of sorrow and despair as I saw the tormented faces of those captured in the images. Overwhelmed by the experience, I quickly returned to my car and drove away from the haunted crossroads. The memory of that encounter haunted my dreams, a reminder that the boundary between the living and the dead is sometimes thin, and the supernatural can cross paths with the world of the living. From that night on, I avoided the Crossroads of Souls, fearing the restless spirits that dwelled there. The experience left me with a profound understanding that some places hold the echoes of tragedy and sorrow, and the spirits of the departed linger, seeking solace in the living world. As the night draws to a close, we hope you survive the bone-chilling driving horror stories. Remember, the darkness hides more than meets the eye, so stay vigilant on those late-night drives. And if you ever find yourself on a deserted road at night, beware of what lurks in the shadows. Drive safe, and may your nightmares stay in the realm of fiction.